vacate, lad, and let the division crack on.
Interim to genuine title. The people who say it's not a genuine title have never won a title in their life.
Yeah, people keep saying, oh, you're probably going to end up like Tom when you win it, it'll get upgraded. And
Why would that happen though?
because people are saying Ilya's not going to be back for at least a year. I don't know, lad. I want to show everyone that I can beat them, but at the same time, if I have me waiting, like Tom was waiting for John, then no. Just vacate, lad, and let the division crack on.
I think it should be Paddy and Ilya. I think that's
The atmosphere is electric as Arman Tsarukyan makes his position crystal clear. When it comes to this interim title fight, he's openly backing Justin Gaethje over Paddy Pimblett because he believes the British fighter will try to avoid him if he gets the win.
Justin Gaethje is fighting Paddy Pimblett coming up. Who do you favor?
I want Justin to beat Paddy. Yeah.
This temporary title situation comes from an unusual twist in the lightweight picture. The current undefeated king Ilia Topuria has stepped away from competition to deal with personal matters, including a divorce, creating chaos in the division. The promotion's decision to establish an interim belt while Topuria sorts out his life has shocked the MMA community, particularly because the top contender is sitting on the sidelines for this one. Despite being excluded from this particular fight, Tsarukyan stays optimistic about his championship prospects. He's confident a title opportunity will present itself before the year wraps up, though the exact timing remains unclear. His calculations suggest either a summer showdown or a December title bout awaits him. The wild card in all of this appears to be when Topuria decides to make his comeback.
Justin, he's gonna fight with me, but Paddy, if Paddy wins, he's gonna try to avoid me and trying not to fight me because he's not man like Justin.
Bookmakers have delivered some shocking numbers here. When the betting lines first dropped, Pimblett opened as the betting favorite, a development that left many people scratching their heads. Laura Sanko, a respected UFC commentator and analyst, had to double-check when she first saw the odds, struggling to believe Gaethje was getting underdog treatment. While Sanko acknowledges Pimblett's legitimate talents and the diverse toolkit he brings to his fights, his status as such a significant favorite seemed questionable, considering the experience difference between these two fighters. As we move deeper into fight week, the betting market has remained surprisingly stable, with Pimblett sitting at -225 while Gaethje holds at +185 across major sportsbooks. This pricing reflects public sentiment that has shown unexpected resistance to the typical line movement that occurs when sharp money and fight week dynamics usually influence the numbers. The stability of these odds suggests genuine conviction among bettors that the younger, less battle-tested competitor represents the safer investment.
Which he is, I believe, currently around a 2-to-1 favorite to do so.
He is?
Yeah, a little surprising there. I know he opened as the favorite, and people are like, I had Eddie Alvarez on the show, and he's like, he loves Justin Gaethje, obviously, and he's like, once I go to the sports book, Justin's not going to be the underdog anymore. My bet's going to change it alone, but clearly not. A lot of back for Paddy in this fight.
That's fascinating. I mean, it's not like I think Paddy should be some ginormous underdog. But that number being so far the other way does surprise me. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it does. But then I look at the stuff on Just Insider. I don't know if you saw that thing about the ingrown hair, the staph infection. That's one thing. Trevor Whitman just did an interview with Brett Okamoto at ESPN, basically saying like, this is it for us. If we don't win this, we're not sticking around for money fights or super fights. Like, kind of applying that pressure there. So I kind of worry for where Justin Gaethje's mind is at, because he was going to hold out and retire if he didn't get a fight like this either, it seemed like.
Yeah. I just think Justin is so experienced, so violent, so he brings an element that none of Paddy's past opponents has had. That being said, there are times where, I think there'd be a lot of opportunities for Paddy to get a submission. So that's what makes it a compelling.
A minor drama unfolded leading up to the event when social media buzz centered on a noticeable mark visible on Gaethje's neck in recent footage. The rumor machine went into overdrive with speculation about possible staph infections, a legitimate worry considering how rapidly such issues can spread in combat sports. Gaethje quickly shut down the chatter through his social platforms, explaining the mark was simply an ingrown hair in the healing process. He expressed annoyance with people manufacturing stories about his health, particularly given how delicate such speculation can be within the organization.
Gaethje has staff. Justin Gaethje has staff. That's it. He's totally compromised. He's gonna lose to Paddy. Oh no! I mean, look at that on his neck there. That is just disgusting. Gaethje, man, cover that up. I don't want to be looking at that. Now, Gaethje's come out and said it is an ingrown hair, and breath get hanging out of my mouth, Nostradamus. That is a big word for you to be using, Justin Gaethje. I don't even know what that means. You might be low-key a scholar. Getting punched in the face, you might be the first person who's getting punched in the face a lot and somehow become smarter. Now, I know people are going to be saying built-in excuse, yada, yada, yada. Here's what I'm going to tell you. It doesn't really change much. I've already predicted Paddy's going to win. I've already predicted that he's going to absolutely annihilate Justin Gaethje for a multitude of different reasons, right? We already know that Justin Gaethje has, like, no BJJ. It is non-existent. Bro almost got submitted by half-fail physique. Do you know how bad at grappling you have to be to get submitted by half-fail physique or come close to it? No, this guy's cooked. If this fight touches the ground, it's game over. On the feet, at least Justin has a chance to land something, but the problem with Gaethje is that he's just not very precise with his shots. Like, he's not very good at actually landing the shot where he wants to. Like, yes, he's landed knockout shots due to his power, but he's not a precise puncher, like, at all. I think that Paddy's going to try to maintain the distance. He's going to utilize some of his crafty kicks, and I think he's going to eventually try to shoot a takedown, which he doesn't even have to get all the way. All he has to do is get Gaethje's back. If he gets Gaethje's back, it's a wrap. GG.
The retirement narrative surrounding this fight adds tremendous emotional weight to the proceedings. Trevor Whitman, who has coached Gaethje throughout his professional journey, spoke candidly about what lies ahead, depending on the outcome. The veteran coach made it abundantly clear this represents their last championship chase together, stating unequivocally that a loss would trigger retirement rather than continuing as a divisional gatekeeper. He stated, "I'm not afraid to say it outright. This is our last shot. If we don't win this fight, we're not moving forward. We're not going out there to be a gatekeeper, chasing money fights and things like that. Justin would fight again, but he knows he needs to be there for his family. He needs to be smart and protect his health. But if we get this belt, my ambitious goal would be let's go for several title defenses in a row. We're not the champion right now, so we need to capture that title first." Michael Bisping added his voice to the conversation with his prediction favoring Pimblett for the victory. The former champion and current analyst broke down his logic, acknowledging that Gaethje has superior boxing fundamentals and grappling credentials, though that wrestling background remains largely unused in competition. Bisping noted that even if Gaethje chose to utilize his wrestling, taking Pimblett down would carry significant risks given the British competitor's grappling abilities. The key factors in Bisping's analysis: at 31 years old, Pimblett remains in his athletic prime with relatively minimal wear and tear. In contrast, Gaethje has absorbed years of punishing striking battles.
155 pounds. I don't see anyone beating Ilia Topuria. I just don't. Not Paddy, not Justin. Yeah, all right, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, and he's the dark horse. Obviously, Paddy and Justin are fighting for the interim title. That's an interesting fight because Justin, better boxer, better wrestling, never uses the wrestling. Even if he did use the wrestling, you wouldn't really want to take Paddy Pimblett down. Paddy's a lot younger, a lot less miles on the clock, a lot less wear and tear. I'm kind of early leaning towards Paddy Pimblett in that fight. But who's the undisputed champ at the end of 2026? So yeah, 2026, Topuria will still be the champ. Yeah, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, but I don't think that fight will materialize just yet.
He has entered this fight with tremendous confidence, predicting a finish victory over his veteran opponent. The Liverpool native has worked extensively with teammate Luke Rockhold during his camp to sharpen his striking arsenal. Rockhold boasts an impressive finishing rate from his spotless UFC run, and Pimblett is convinced this partnership has elevated his sophisticated stand-up game to a level that surpasses what Gaethje displays in fights. The game plan involves using range management to keep the heavy-handed veteran at bay before capitalizing with powerful shots. Pimblett expressed genuine shock when studying tape of how frequently Gaethje absorbs clean punches throughout his contests. Exploiting this vulnerability represents a major opportunity.
Oliveira, but you know what I mean? It's a new style for him. You're not just the typical up-and-coming scrapper brawler that's going to get into a fun scrap with Gaethje. There's more intricacies to your game with the grappling as well. So how do you think you're going to get this one done?
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know he can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one, and I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back, you know what I mean? So be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje, and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about the takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as. But I can see myself dropping him, ending up on top and either TKOing him or submitting him or TKOing him a ground and pound.
Michael Chandler delivered perhaps the boldest take, picking Gaethje for this upcoming fight, while also predicting him to eventually defeat Topuria in a future unification bout. Considering Chandler's recent octagon experience against Pimblett in Miami, the direct encounter exposed qualities that casual observers might overlook, such as Pimblett's reach advantage, diverse kicking arsenal, and composed behavior under fire, bringing an intensity and danger that few across any weight class can match. His daring prediction of Gaethje defeating the unbeaten Topuria, a fighter Chandler previously described as possibly the most technically gifted competitor in the entire promotion, demonstrates his belief in the veteran's championship potential.
Also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his, his haircut and the way he talks and some of the, the strength of schedule. People don't give him a lot of credit, but when I fought him in April in Miami, I'm not going to say that I was surprised, because I was expecting the best version of Paddy, but he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, which I can't, but if I had to lean one direction, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
Ferguson offered psychological insights that extended beyond simple physical evaluation. He highlighted the mental burden Gaethje carries from 2 previous unsuccessful title attempts, suggesting such experiences create an emotional weight that resurfaces in championship fights. The pressure of repeated setbacks contrasts sharply with Pimblett's fresh excitement about his first title shot, unencumbered by ghosts of previous failures.
It's not bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness in mind.
Uriah Faber examined who performs better when technical skill deteriorates. Into chaotic warfare. While both fighters willingly engage in wars, Faber identified a distinctive quality in Gaethje's response to chaos, appearing genuinely energized when fights transform into
Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, who do you favor in that fight?
I gotta go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that loves to get down and throw fist for fist, and he's also got the Division I wrestling to negate some of the biggest skill sets of Paddy. Paddy's a very dominant grappler when it comes to submissions. I think Gaethje has the tools to keep it where he wants it.
Voices expressed frustration about the matchmaking itself, arguing Pimblett's rapid ascension demonstrates promotional emphasis on marketability over athletic merit, particularly when compared to Sarakian's more accomplished resume.
You're just basically saying Paddy's more popular, you're getting it over Armin.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? And that's, I mean, God, I hate kind of get into this too much, but I mean, that's really that's the definition of a monopoly, where a single promoter owns the title and the rankings. And it's not a good thing for the sport, in my opinion. And I have to question what it's going to do for the longevity of the sport. You know, I don't think in the short term it's really going to make a big difference, right? Like, you know, it's going to sell the next fight, right? It's going to sell the next pay-per-view. But trends tend to come and go, right? Fads tend to come and go. At some point, like, you know, to have staying power and lasting power, I think it requires, you know, a meritocracy-based system. It's going to require, you know, some, you know, if you want to bring in guys like Armin Sarukian or Movsar Evloev, I always mess up how I say his name. You know, you want to bring in these Olympic wrestling level guys. I mean, they don't want to have to go out there and put on some ridiculous show to become a champion. They don't want to have to go on Instagram and start a podcast and make you know, whatever kind of skits on social media and this silly kind of stuff. Like, they just want to be a world champion because they want to be the best athlete. And that's what makes me wonder how the staying power is going to be, right? When you're dealing with guys that are, you know, legitimate athletes that want to be legitimate athletes, and they're getting passed up by guys that are entertaining.
Eddie Alvarez, bringing unique perspective from defeating Gaethje years ago, emphasized preparation value over natural talent. He warned that Gaethje's suffocating pressure proves impossible to accurately replicate during training, potentially leaving Pimblett unprepared for the actual fight night challenge.
8 years ago, what's like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that fight with Justin?
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch or anything like that, because that would have never. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch. So like, but if you want to beat Justin Gaethje, you have to. So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket, and he's gonna throw everything he got in that pocket. If you don't meet him, you'll get chewed up. So Paddy, the way to beat a guy who like does this, very violent, aggressive pressure fighter, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave, and you have to go when he goes in between his shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not brave and courageous and throw when he throws in between his shots, it's going to be a really long night. It's going to be a hard night for you.
Moicano predicted Pimblett winning by submission unless Gaethje secured an early finish, arguing the odds underestimated the grappling advantage.
Chuck, you know, I think 5 rounds. If this is the common take, everybody gonna say that, not only me, but if Justin Gaethje doesn't stop him on the beginning, he's going to lose. I think everybody thinks like that. And I think Paddy Pimblett will beat Justin Gaethje. That's what I think.
The combination of perspectives, predictions, and storylines transforms UFC 384 into far more than a standard interim title bout, representing career crossroads, promotional philosophies, and the eternal battle between experience and youth in mixed martial arts.